my guest to you this evening. Captain Saurabh Bhatnagar is a former A320 pilot joining us on the broadcast. Thank you, Captain Bhatnagar. Dr. Jason Knight is a senior lecturer in fluid mechanics joining us on the broadcast. Thank you very much. And Air Vice Marshal retired Nitin Vaidya is an ATC expert joining us on the broadcast. Captain Saurabh Bhatnagar, just to come to the piece of breaking news that has just come to us, that the DGCA has asked all airlines in this country to check/audit fuel switches on Dreamliners and Boeing planes. In the report that the AAIB gave, there is a clean chit to Air India, there is a clean chit to Boeing saying कि कोई mechanical failure तो है ही नहीं. There is no mechanical failure, there is no maintenance failure. If that is the case, then why this DGCA order and what does it tell us?
Good evening to you and to all the other panelists and to the viewers. First of all, in my opinion, this report is totally one-sided, biased report and only deals towards the pilots. There is no mention, as you have said, that there could be some technical, there could be some malfunction of the signal or the erroneous signals to the FedEx to cut off the fuel supply. And I'm quite surprised how this report got leaked to the Western media 2 days back. On the 8th of July, it already was published in the Air Current, that's an online publication. They already published that the Air India probe is toward the fuel cutoff switches. Yes, and your reporter also very rightly pointed out that the CVR, which says the pilots heard saying, why did he cut off? No, that is as per the ICAO Annex 13, Chapter 7, the data has to be given, disseminated to all. Where is this data of CVR? It's a line, it's a paraphrase. You should give the exact data because the CVR records both the pilot and the co-pilot's communication separately. They're different channels. Even the switches position, switches sound is recorded in CVR. Why the AAIB has not said this? Now regarding the fuel local mechanism, the DGCA should have come up immediately. The moment the AAIB has released the report, it should come up with the notice on Saturday itself. Why now? When all the pilot bodies has now started voicing their opinion, they're saying this is a biased report and it indirectly, insinuate the pilots and says, okay, it's a suicide. That is absolutely not understandable and unbelievable how this can happen. In 1 second, it is humanly not possible to put both their fuel control switches from run to off position.
Captain Saurabh Bhatnagar, I want to then ask you, you're calling this report sham, right? Captain Bhatnagar, you're calling this report sham. You are saying that the report insinuates that it was pilot error.
Sham.
I want to ask you why you think AAIB, that reports to the Civil Aviation Ministry of this country, would want to save corporates like Boeing or Air India or GE and point the finger of blame at the pilots. ये तो अपनी ही देश की Civil Aviation Ministry, right? The probe is not done by some foreigners.
No, but the thing is, I'm not saying, first of all, that it's a sham. I'm saying the full data has not been given. Only the data pertaining to the fuel cutoff switch and the pilot and human error. Where is the technical angle? And why was the requirement to tell Boeing and GE at this point of time that there is no requirement for any, any checks or something to be carried out at this, and to Air India? Why only the pilot thing has been mentioned here? That is why I'm saying this is incorrect. And the CVR data has to be raw data. The ICAO very clearly mandates that if any accident which has got a high profile investigation, the data should be disseminated as soon as possible to the ICAO, to all the investigating agencies, to the states who are involved in the investigation, and to the public. Where is this data of CVR which everybody is talking about, that it is cutoff means fuel cutoff, and the pilot is saying that means now indirectly they have blamed pilots? Why? Where is the other probe which is there regarding the, yes, there has been, without, what happened to the Japan Airlines after landing when both the fuel cutoff shut-off valve was off and both the engines switched off on the runway itself? The aircraft had to be towed back. There also same thing. The fuel cutoff switches they were still in the run position. So I don't believe that. What was the hurry to to save them?
Okay. Air Vice Marshal Nitin Vaidya, would you want to come in here? Two things very clearly. If we talk about pilot suicide, there has to be a reason why anyone would want to commit suicide with 200 241 people on board, right? For both the captain and the first officer, there is no reason. One is months away from his retirement, one is months away from his marriage. Psychologically, they have been tested. They have gone through psychiatric tests, mental tests. They have cleared all those tests, which is why they are flying the plane, right? That is very clear. So that theory doesn't hold. My point to you is, my question to you is, if all pilots that we have spoken to are saying that it is not humanly possible for a pilot or anyone to switch off 2 fuel switches within a second, which is what the report tells us happened, why blame the pilots? If it's not possible, why would you think that the pilots did it either deliberately or erroneously?
I completely agree with you, Shreyaji, the way you have put across the reasons as to why the pilots should be beyond a thought of committing suicide. And I also want to add to what Captain Saurabh Bhatnagar has said, that the report should have actually been a comprehensive one, to the extent that if you have a data which need not be any more corrected because it's a cockpit voice recorder and nothing in it can change, you might as well put it up at the first instance so that people are aware as to what conversation has taken place, and if there is any reason to come to any conclusion, it is much easier to do that. Putting up only a single statement leads to what is happening now in terms of speculation and the pilots being blamed. And like I said on your channel, that blaming somebody who is not alive is the last thing that we should be doing right now. We should be finding the right causes. And also, I fail to understand as to why the Investigation Bureau has given a clean sheet to Boeing and to the GE at the first instance. This is just not done. If you have not come to any conclusions where you do not want certain data to be not put in public, you don't make such statements where you say that, okay, these 2 people, no advisories or no intervention is required at this point of time, either from the Boeing or from the GE. But yet you give only a simple statement that one pilot said to the other and the second pilot replied. And now you leave it to the conjecture of the people to draw conclusions. And invariably, most of the people, especially the Western media, is harping on the fact that it's a pilot error. Now, I do not understand as to what is the hurry to come to conclusions before the report is finalized. And as far as not coming to a conclusion is concerned, I completely would want to believe that when so many lives are at stake, it is incorrect for the people who have been left behind and the families to go through this trauma of trying to figure out as to who's done it, why somebody has done it, and why somebody is going to be blamed for it. Than putting up a comprehensive report to the extent as what is available, so that all these things are laid to rest.
Okay. Okay. Can I